Hi guys, my name is Stephanie. If you're new here, hi, welcome. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. So as you guys know, my channel is called Steph Loves Life, and this channel was supposed to be a little bit of everything that I love, and it's mostly been wax. But I think near the beginning of my channel I did a book haul. Well, this is another book haul. And this has been sitting here, you guys, for like a month. I have wax that has been sitting here. I mean, I have to film this because I am on a low/no buy, and this has to get entered into the spreadsheet. Well, the wax does. These books have to be put away out of the boxes, so I can start fresh with my low/no buy, no excuses. So I have books from a few different spots. I have a couple books that I found at little free libraries. I have one at our Savers Mart. I have some from Amazon. I have some from my secondhand bookstore. Love that place. It's called Bounty Books. Independently owned. And then I have a couple boxes from Book Outlet. I do have to pick up my daughter at 2:45. I have to leave here at about 2:30 because I gotta get gas. But I'm gonna get through what I can get through. I'm not gonna talk too much about the books. You know, maybe if I can remember what it's about, then I'll do that. But we'll see. I mean, it doesn't hurt to pause it and start when I get back. So let's talk about the books that I got at my secondhand bookstore. So some of these are books like I'm trying to continue on. I have series, and the first one is a coffee house mystery. So I have adding on to those. So this is Espresso Shot, and then Holiday Grind. This is by Cleo Coyle, C-O-Y-L-E. And I have a few. I have like the first 4 books. I just wish they would put the what number this is. So this is fun because it's a girl who lives over her coffee shop. I think if I remember correctly, she's inherited the coffee shop from her parents. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read these, but I like to I go through phases where like I want to read 3 or 4 books in the same series, and then I kind of like, all right, I'm over it, and then I move on to something else. But I like to make sure I have at least 3 or 4 books in what I want. So anyway, so yeah, the Holiday Grind and Espresso Shot. So excited to have those added to my collection. Another one is Joanne Fluke. This is the Hannah Swenson Mystery Collection. I think there's like 80 books in this one. There's a lot of books in this one. Some of them are like a book 2.5 or whatever. I don't necessarily, excuse me, gravitate towards those. Just give me the whole book. So this one is Triple Chocolate Cheesecake Murder. I know Hallmark did like the first 3 books or the first 4 books very loosely done from the regular books, but still cute, still fun to watch. I like stuff like that. It's a fun movie series to watch. So looks like this one is around Easter time. I don't know what number this is. I have a little notebook, and I have a list of all the books I have, and if it's in a series and what I'm missing in that series. And then when I go to the secondhand bookstore, I bring that with me and I'm looking for those. I try and stay in that, but as you will see, I didn't. And is anyone surprised? Is anyone surprised? No. Okay, so yeah, Triple Chocolate Cheesecake Murder. So excited to have that in the collection. And then the other one is a Booktown mystery. This is Sentenced to Death by Laura Barrett. Once again, don't know what number this is, but super cute. I love cozy mysteries. They're just fun. They're good palate cleansers. You know, you don't have to think about it. You can get through it kind of fast, and it's just cozy. They're just fun. So yeah, there's that. That's it for the series collections. Then I found, this is called No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is a thriller. So this is, 13 hours, 14 strangers, one missing child, no exit. She knows her odds and she'll fight anyway. So that is kind of chilling. I don't know if you guys, I'm gonna read what the synopsis says. On her way to Utah to see her dying mother, college student Darby Thorne gets caught in a fierce blizzard in Colorado Rockies. With the roads impassable, she's forced to wait out the storm on a remote highway rest stop with no cell phone reception. Inside are some vending machines, a coffee maker, and 4 complete strangers. Desperate to find a signal to call home, the exhausted young art student goes back out into the storm and makes a horrifying discovery. In the back of the van, parked next to her car, is a little girl locked in an animal crate. Who is the child? Why has she been taken? And how can Darby save her? There is no way to call for help and no way out. One of her fellow travelers is a kidnapper, but which one? Trapped in an increasingly dangerous situation on the edge of civilization, with a child's life and her own on the line, Darby must find a way to break the girl out of the van and escape. But who can she trust? That just sounds fun. Next is Hour of the Witch by Chris Bah. Nope, I'm not even gonna try that. But this one is Boston, 1662. While Mary Deerfield might have had suitors in England, in the New World, she is merely the second wife of the cruel and powerful Thomas Deerfield. When Thomas drives a fork into the back of her hand, she's determined to divorce him. But in a world where neighbors constantly watch for signs of the devil, Mary, who harbors secret desires and struggles to tolerate the colony's brazen hypocrisy, soon becomes the object of suspicion. Once tainted objects are discovered in her garden and a boy she has treated with herbs dies, Mary must fight to escape not only her marriage but also the gallows. A twisting, tightly plotted novel of historical suspense from one of our greatest storytellers. Hour of the Witch is a timely and terrifying story of socially sanctioned brutality and the original American witch hunt. That just sounded intriguing. Something that would be fun to read in October. But I read my books like I melt my wax, like all year round. Right now I'm reading Gone to See the Riverman, and that's supposed to be like extreme horror. So I get through these moods where I want all the things. It looks like when I was doing this, it was mostly horror, suspense, psychological thriller is kind of what I was going for. This is called The Stillwater Girls by Minka Kent. So there's that. They were raised to fear everything in the world, especially the truth. Ignorant of civilization and cautioned against its evils, 19-year-old Wren and her 2 sisters, Sage and Evie, were raised in off-the-grid isolation in a primitive cabin in upstate New York. When the youngest grows gravely ill, their mother leaves with the child to get help from a nearby town, and they never return. As months pass, hope vanishes, supplies are low, livestock are dying, a brutal winter is bearing down. Then comes a stranger. He claims to be looking for the girl's mother, and he's not leaving without them. To escape, Wren and her sister must break the rule they've grown up with, never go beyond the forest. Past the thicker of dread, they come upon a house on the other side of the pines. This is where Wren and Sage must confront something more chilling than the unknowable. They'll discover what's been hidden from them and what they're running from, and the secrets that have left them in the dark their entire lives. I have no idea, and I'm intrigued. That sounds like a fun frickin' read. Next one, The House of Brides by Jane Cockrum. Love this cover. I mean, how stunning is that? That one's all right. Miranda Courtney has seen better days in the humiliating aftermath of a very public fall from grace as a lifestyle influencer. She has become accustomed to disappointing people. But when a distressing letter comes from her 12-year-old cousin asking for help, Miranda is genuinely alarmed. For one thing, the return address is Barnsley House, the English family estate immortalized in her mother's best-selling memoir, The House of Brides. For another, the letter is addressed to her mother, Tessa Summer, who has been dead for almost 20 years. Since her mother's death, Miranda's only connection to Barnsley House has been through Tessa's famous book, a chronicle of the generations of women who married into the infamous Summer family. From Gertrude Summer, a famed crime novelist, to Miranda's grandmother, Beatrice, who killed herself after setting fire to Barnsley while her children slept, each woman in the House of Brides is more notorious than the last. The house's current bride, quote-unquote, is the notorious effervescent Daphne, a celebrated chef whose success has saved Barnsley from ruin. Miranda decides that a return to England may be an opportunity to escape the fallout. Miranda decides that a return to England may be the opportunity to escape the fallout at home, reconnect to her family, and possibly redeem herself in the process. But she arrives to a very different Barnsley house from the one portrayed in The House of Brides. The renowned hotel and restaurant are shuttered, and Daphne is nowhere to be found. Miranda is greeted by the forbidding housekeeper, Mrs. Minns, and meets her aloof Uncle Max and his children, one of whom is confined to a wheelchair after a mysterious accident. Not knowing whom to trust, Miranda quickly realizes she must conceal her identity, and she also realizes that she's not the only one at Barnsley who is hiding something. What's happened in this house? Where's Daphne? And is Miranda destined to follow the doomed path of the Summer women who came before her? Just sounds like a fun whodunit. That was a lot. What Lies in the Woods. This one I just finished reading. This one was a lot of fun. I was, this poor girl, I was shocked all the way up into the end. I was like, what the frick's going on? So they were 11 when they sent a killer to prison. They were heroes, but they were liars. Naomi Shaw used to believe in magic. 22 years ago, she and her two best friends, Cassidy and Olivia, spent the summer roaming the woods, imagining a world of ceremony and wonder, the goddess game. The game became an obsession and a refuge for the three girls. That sanctuary was suddenly shattered when Naomi was attacked. Miraculously, she survived in her 17th stab wounds and lived to identify the man who hurt her. The girls' testimony put away a serial killer wanted for murdering 6 women. They were heroes. And they were liars. For decades, the friends have kept a secret that might be worth killing for. Hidden in the forest. For decades, the friends have kept a secret that might be worth killing for hidden in the forest. But now, Olivia wants to tell the whole story. When she goes missing and Naomi sets out to find out what really happened in the woods, no matter how dangerous the truth turns out to be. This one was a good one. A lot of fun. I don't know if this is going to be a reread. I have a box of books that I usually, like when I go to the little free libraries, I have a box for that. I have a box that I take to my secondhand bookstore. It's never ones that I purchase from the secondhand bookstore. So like this one, I would not, I would rather you know, donate it to the either Savers or the little libraries or in a friend box. So this one I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I read that one already and that was a lot of fun. Next one, I got wax on it. Is anyone surprised? This is called The Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. Ominous looking door of the lock. Ooh, this one's hard to read. Libby Day was 7 when her mother and 2 sisters were murdered in the Satan sacrifice of Kinnicky, Kansas. She survived and famously testified that her 15-year-old brother, Ben, was the killer. 25 years later, when the Kill Club, a secret society obsessed with notorious crimes, locates Libby and pumps her for details, proof its members hope may find. These sentences. 25 years later, when the Kill Club, a secret society obsessed with notorious crimes, locates Libby and pumps her for details, proof its members hope may free Ben, she hatches a plan to profit off her tragic history. For a fee, she'll reconnect with the players from that night and report her findings to the club. As Libby's search takes her from shabby Missouri strip clubs to abandoned Oklahoma tourist towns, the unimaginable truth emerges, and Libby finds herself right back where she started, on the run from a killer. One I don't know why all of a sudden I wanted it, but all of a sudden I wanted it. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I have never read I have never read Pride and Prejudice, but this just seems like fun. I feel like, didn't they have a Netflix? I feel like I watched the Netflix, or I didn't want to watch the Netflix because I wanted to read the book, but I feel like it was a Netflix movie. So begins Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, an expanded edition of the beloved Jane Austen novel featuring all new scenes of bone-crunching zombie mayhem. As our story opens, a mysterious plague has fallen upon the quiet English village of Meryton, and the dead are returning to life. Feisty heroine Elizabeth Bennet is determined to wipe out the zombie menace, but she's soon distracted by the arrival of the haughty and arrogant Mr. Darcy. What ensues is a delightful comedy of manners with plenty of civilized sparring between the two young lovers, and even more violent sparring on the blood-soaked battlefield. Can Elizabeth vanquish the spawn of Satan and overcome the social prejudices of the class-conscious landed gentry? Complete with romantic heartbreak, sword fights, cannibalism, and thousands of rotting corpses, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies transforms a masterpiece of world literature into something you'd actually want to read. I just thought that sounded fun. I don't know when I'm going to read it though. So this one is one I wasn't going to pick up. I'm not a huge fan of books that are just going to like make me bawl and make me cry, and I have a feeling this is probably going to do it. This is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. I already know this is going to make me cry. Jonathan Safran Foer emerged as one of the most original writers of his generation. Okay. Here's a synopsis of the book. 9-year-old Oscar Schell has embarked on an urgent secret mission that will take him through the 5 boroughs of New York. His goal is to find the lock that matches a mysterious key that belonged to his father, who died in the World Trade Center on the morning of September 11. The seemingly impossible task will bring Oscar into contact with survivors of all sorts on an exhilarating, affecting, often hilarious, and ultimately healing journey. So number one, 9/11. If you guys don't know, my husband's a firefighter, so anything that has to do with like the loss of any firefighter, in the line of duty just is a scary thing all the time. And my daughter turned 5. Her birthday is September 11. And the boy in this, from what I've heard, is autistic, has high functioning autism like my daughter. So I have a feeling this is going to be just an emotional, but I have a feeling this is probably going to be a top book of mine. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Another one, this is Finding Noof, N-O-U-F, by Zoe Ferraris. No, Ferraris. Sorry. So this one is when 16-year-old Noof goes missing, her prominent family calls on Nair Sharik, a pious desert guide, to lead the search party. 10 days later, just as Nair is about to give up in frustration, her body is discovered by anonymous desert travelers. But when the coroner's office determines that Noof died not of dehydration, but from drowning, and her family seems suspiciously uninterested in getting the truth. Nair takes it upon himself to find out what really happened. He quickly realizes that if he wants to gain access to the hidden world of women, he will have to join forces with Katya Hijazi, a lab worker at the coroner's office who is bold enough to bare her face and to work in public. Their partnership challenges Nair as he confronts his desire for female companionship and the limitations imposed by his beliefs. Fast-paced and utterly transporting, Finding Noof is a riveting literary mystery that offers an unprecedented window into Saudi Arabia and the lives of men and women there. I'm super, super intrigued. I have no idea what to expect from this. I didn't look it up on Goodreads to see what it got. I'm going to go in blind. Like I do most of the things, I don't ever look to see what the ratings are when it comes to Goodreads until if I'm reading and I'm feeling like, okay, I'm just not enjoying this, there's something I'm kind of picking up, or there's a vibe that I just don't like, then I'll go on Goodreads. And if other people have that same vibe, if I'm not enjoying it and I know I'm not going to enjoy it, then I just quit. Yeah, I'm not putting myself through torture when I have so many other books I can read. Next one, The House in the Pines by Anya Reyes. Maya was a high school senior when her best friend Aubrey dropped dead in front of the enigmatic man named Frank, whom they'd be spending time with all summer. 7 years later, Maya lives in Boston with a loving boyfriend and is kicking the secret addiction that has allowed her to cope with what happened years ago, the gaps in her memories and the lost time that she can't account for. But her past comes rushing back when she comes across a recent YouTube video in which a young woman suddenly keels over and dies in a diner while sitting across from none other than Frank. Plunged into the trauma that has defined her life, Maya heads to her Berkshire's hometown to relive that fateful summer, the influence Frank once had on her, and the obsessive jealousy that nearly destroyed her friendship with Aubrey. At her mother's house, she excavates fragments of her past and notices hidden messages in her deceased Guatemalan father's book that didn't stand out to her earlier. To save herself, she must understand the story written before she was born, but time keeps running out, and soon all roads are leading back to Frank's cabin. Fun mystery. I like a good mystery. Next one, Paint It Black by Janet Fitch. This one, Josie Tyrell, art model, runaway, and denizen of LA's rock scene, finds a chance at real love with Michael Faraday, a Harvard dropout and son of a renowned pianist. But when she receives a call from the coroner asking her to identify her lover's body, her bright dreams all turn to black. As Josie struggles to understand Michael's death and to hold on to the world they shared, she is both attracted to and repelled by his pianist mother, Meredith, who blames Josie for her son's torment. Soon the two women are drawn into a twisted relationship that reflects equal parts distrust and blind need. With the luxurious prose and fever-pitched intensity that are her hallmarks, Janet Fitch weaves a spellbinding tale of love, betrayal, and the possibility of transcendence. No idea what to expect. It sounded good in the bookstore, and now I'm just kind of like, meh. So we'll see. I'll pick it up and read it, see what happens. Next one is Shutter by Melissa Larson. Check my okay. Shutter by Melissa Larson. In the wake of her father's death, Betty Rue does not allow herself to mourn. Instead, she pushes away her mother, breaks up with her boyfriend, and leaves everything behind to move to New York City. She doesn't know what she wants except to run. When she's offered the chance to play the leading role in mysterious indie filmmaker Anthony Marino's new project, she jumps at the opportunity. For a moment, Betty will live in a cabin on a private island off the coast of Maine as part of the 5-person cast and crew. Her mother warns against it, but Betty is too drawn to the charismatic Anthony to say no. Anthony gives her a new identity, Lola, and Betty tells herself that this is exactly what she's been looking for, the chance to reinvent herself. That is until they begin filming and she meets Sammy, the island's caretaker, and Betty realizes just how little she knows about the movie and its director. Fun, fun. This one is Carrion Comfort by Dan Simmons. It's a chunky book. Found this in the horror section. The past. Caught behind the line of Hitler's final solutions, Saul Lasky is one of the multitudes destined to die in the notorious Shalemo extermination camp, until he rises to meet his fate and finds himself face to face with an evil far older and far greater than the Nazis themselves. The present. Compelled by the encounter to survive at all costs, so begins a journey that for Saul will span decades and cross continents. Plunging into the darkest corners of 20th century history to reveal a secret society of beings who throughout the ages may exist, but the world's most horrible and violent events. Behind the... Oh my gosh, Stephanie. This writing's so small and I'm not wearing my glasses, so... And it's like kind of off gray on black. Let me find... And these sentences are so freaking long. Plunging into the darkest corners of 20th century history to reveal a secret society of beings who throughout the ages may exist behind the world's most horrible and violent events. Killing from a distance and by darkly manipulative proxy, they are people with the psychic ability to use quote-unquote humans, read their minds, subjugate them to their wills, experience through their senses, feed off their emotions, force them to acts of unspeakable aggression. Each year, 3 of the most powerful of this hidden order meet to discuss their triumphs of induced bloodshed and deliberate destruction. But at this reunion, something will go terribly wrong. Saul's quest is about to reach its exclusive object, drawing hunter and hunted alike into a struggle that will plumb the depths of mankind's attraction to violence and determine the future of the world itself. No idea. Sounded intriguing. We'll see. Next one is The Sword in His Hand. This is Darcentaria Duology. So I found book number 1 by J.J. Fisher. First of all, the covers. I love this cover. For hundreds of years, strange things have been washing up on the shores of Darcenteria. But when a young foreign woman named Elle is found unconscious on the beach amidst the burning wreckage of a strange metal craft, the villagers of Odessa are immediately suspicious. Is she an agent of the Darriadan Empire, whatever, their cruel oppressors for as long as they can remember? Or does she come from the outside, the vast and legendary lands beyond their borders, from which no man or woman has ever returned? Torsten Esseler, a talented young swordsman, has spent the last 9 years of his life wrongfully imprisoned by his uncle, the Empire's ruler. Betrayed and deceived at every turn, Torsten has survived by keeping to do with the outside. Torsten has survived by keeping a firm grip on his sword and staying well away from anything to do with the outside. But when his young sister is murdered, Torsten finds himself irrevocably drawn to Elle, despite her outsider heritage, and he begins to question everything he has been told about her world. Intrigued by the existence of a powerful and dangerously advanced world within his reach, the Empire's ruler, Jurian, launches a hunt for Elle and the two outsiders who arrived with her, the ones who could help him with this war against Torsten and the rebellion that threatens to topple his empire. It would probably be easier if I was wearing my glasses. Next one, I was able to find a hardcover of The Fourth Wing. She had the second book there too, and I almost got it, but I'm trying to get out of the habit of buying, which doesn't make any sense because you'll see in the rest of this haul, I bought like the whole series. So I should have just gone back and bought. I might do it on Monday. Anyways, this is by Rebecca Yarros. So I'm excited for that. A dragon without its rider is a tragedy, and a rider without their dragon is dead. This is 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her toughest Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite Navarre dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone and your body is brittle, death is only heartbreak away, because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most will kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter. Like Xaden Riorson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly, the kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Basgaith War College has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only two ways out: graduate or die. So this one I'm intrigued about. This book is all over the place, so we shall see again. All right, and this is part of the Dragon Slayer book. This is book 2, Knight of the Silver Circle. So I have no idea what this one. Dragons have returned after 1,000 years, but greater dangers lurk in the shadows. So I'm gonna get over to my my Amazon books because I bought the first one. So this is Dragon Slayer book 1. It's been 1,000 years since dragons filled the skies above the countryside. 1,000 years since mages and swordmen joined forces to battle the magical creatures to destruction. In the centuries since, those with magical talents have been burned at the stake. save for a handful recruited by Prince Bishop to serve his own ambitions. The Chevaliers fall into debauchery and drunkenness and were disbanded. There's been war and struggle, but mostly the people of Mirabeya have gone on about their lives in peace until now. A dragon awakens deep in the mountains of Mirabeya, racked by hunger, tormented by grief and anger. For him, the 1,000 years have passed in the blink of an eye. He soars forth from his cave, eager to fill his stomach and take revenge on the humans who slaughtered his mate. After Prince Bishop's mages are killed trying to destroy the dragon, Mirabeya's young king has no choice but to track down the last Chevalier of the Silver Circle. Perhaps Gilior the Hubiwedi has the magic and heroism of the knights of old. He doesn't, but he has a sense of duty and a conscience, and if that means he dies facing a menace no one has seen in 1,000 years, so be it. So I have a feeling, and there's only 3 books, so I'm gonna absolutely probably get the 3rd one. They don't seem like they're long books. So we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna come back. I'll be right back. All right, you guys. So in the, continuing with the Amazon, I have Soul of a Witch. This is book 3 of Her Soul to Take trilogy by Harley LaRoe. This is dark, extreme romance. There's trigger warnings in here, so just be aware of that one. I am the servant of a merciless God. I am the daughter of its preacher. All my life, my power has been controlled by others. They raised me to be meek and stifled my magic, but no more. A brutal murder led me to discover a mysterious house full of magic and the ancient, powerful demon within. He says my power can change the world, that I can kill the evil creature I once worshipped, but at what cost? So I am really excited for this one. I read the first 2 books. The first book I read, the second book I did Audible, but I really enjoy reading this. Even though it has dual, it has male-female narrators, so that's always fun. But sometimes it's just easier in my head to read. So I have that. Next one is The Lawyer by Marnie Mann. Excited for this one. Y'all know I love a dark romance, mafia romance. I'm not the type of girl who picks up a man on a rooftop bar. Not the kind of girl who lets a man's hands roam my body, discovering I have no panties on. Never the girl who has hours worth I am having such a hard time. Never the girl who's had hours worth of O's from a smoking hat one night stand. But Dominic makes it so easy to say yes. His body, his moves, and his oh so wicked. I'm not even going to finish this. It's romance. Basically, it's her sister's cutthroat entertainment lawyer, and he has a proposition for her. Just leave it at that. This one, I had the paperbacks that I got at Goodwill, but I like these bigger ones, and I didn't know they had these in bigger form, so I ended up getting all 3 because I had all 3 already. This is Kushiel's Dart. This is a trilogy. This one, you guys, I want to say this was written in like the early 2000s. Hold on. Yeah, 2001 is when the first book was written. So this is basically a place of unsurpassed beauty and grace. It is said that those who dwell there are formed from the seed of angels and men, and all live by one simple rule: love as thou wilt. So Phaedra, P-H-E-D-R-E, Phaedra, I don't know, is a young woman with a unique gift. Pricked by Kushiel's dart, she is bound to experience pain and pleasure as one. Trained in espionage and the arts of the bedchamber, she is able to observe and analyze her clients in the throes of passion and learn their darkest secrets. One liaison reveals a plot that threatens the very foundation of Terra d'Ange. Treachery sets her on her path. Love and honor goad her further. It will take her to the edge of despair and beyond. Grandeur, luxuriance, sacrifice, betrayal, and deeply laid conspiracies. Kushiel's dart is set in a world filled with cunning poets, deadly courtiers, heroic traders, and truly Machiavellian villainous and unforgettable heroism. All right, and next, so these two I got, I found at my little libraries. There's like 20 of them. There was maybe about 3 of them that were like not all kids books and not all nursing books. We have a hospital right down the street from us, so maybe that's why, I don't know, but someone was into nursing. So the first one is The Family Plot by Megan Collins. A 26 Dahlia lighthouse is haunted by her upbringing. Raised in a secluded island mansion deep in the woods and kept isolated by her true crime obsessed parents, she is unable to move beyond the disappearance of her twin brother, Andy, when they were 16. Following her father's death, Dahlia returns to the house where the family makes a gruesome discovery. Buried in their father's plot is another body, Andy's. Dahlia is quick to blame Andy's murder on the serial killer who terrorized the island for decades. But as she grapples with her own grief and horror, she realizes that her eccentric family and the mansion itself may hold the answers to what happened to her twin. So that looks like a lot of fun. And then I found this one, My Temptation by T.L. Swan. I love this author. I have a few. I just have to find them. Don't know where they're at. I've got a few from her, or I did. This is Enter a World of Luxury, Lust, and Love with this scorching first title in T.L. Swan's provocative and witty Kingston Lane series. So I'm afraid to read the back, so there's that. So that, now I have 2 books from the book outlet, and it's probably been a year. Oh wait, no, I have, let me do this. I have a Savers Mart down the street, and I like to go to that. So I have some books from Savers Mart. All the Light We Cannot See. I know that this is pretty popular, by Anthony Doerr. So Marie-Laurie Leblanc lives with her father in Paris near the Museum of Natural History, where he works. When she's 12, the Nazis occupy Paris, and father and daughter flee to the walled citadel of Saint Malo, where Marie's reclusive great uncle lives in a tall house by the sea. With them, they carry what might be the museum's most valuable and dangerous jewel. In a mining town in Germany, an orphan grows up with his younger sister, enchanted by a crude radio they find that brings them news and stories from places they have never seen or imagined. Werner becomes an expert at building and fixing these crucial new instruments and is enlisted to use his talents to track down the resistance. Marie and Werner, from warring countries, both having lost many of the people they loved, come together in Saint Malo as Doerr illuminates the ways against all odds people try to be good to one another. So I enjoy reading books, historical fiction on World War II and all of that. It's so just heartbreaking and intriguing, and just the people who fought for one another and stuck up for one another no matter what. And no matter what side you were, like, they were good to you. I love stories like that, and it gives me hope. Gives me hope. All right. Next one, Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. I liked that one. A murder, a tragic accident, or just parents behaving badly. What's indisputable is that someone is dead. Madeline is a force to be reckoned with. She's funny, biting, and passionate. She remembers everything and forgives no one. Celeste is the kind of beautiful woman who makes the world stop and stare, but she is paying a price for the illusion of perfection. New to town, single mom Jane is so young that another mother mistakes her for a nanny. She comes with a mysterious past and a sadness beyond her years. These three women are at different crossroads, but they will all wind up in the same shocking place. Big Little Lies is a brilliant take on ex-husbands and second wives, mothers and daughters, schoolyard scandal, and the dangerous little lies we tell ourselves just to survive. So I'm hoping it's not like too heavy and stupid, but this one, The Witch's Daughter. I just love the cover. I feel like I had this a long time ago, or I had the second book. I don't remember, but in my Goodreads, it shows that I haven't read it. So, the freshness of the night air stung Bess's throat, even as it made her fight for breath. She did not show her pace, nor did she think to care after so many hours in the stifling confines of her prison cell. Here at least was air to breathe. She crested a small hill and paused, steadying herself against the trunk of a tree ash. She could taste the woodland on her tongue, the moss, the silver lichen, the rising sap of trees. Beyond that, two more things clearly described themselves for her: her own fear and the sea. Both saltiness spoke of terror and of freedom. She peered forward along the path and into the heart of the forest. That way lay escape from her captors. That way he could be waiting for her, horses ready, provisions, a plan, a destination to ride for. Sometimes I just get confused on what I just read. She pushed herself from the tree, summoning what strength she had left, but something held her back. Even above the hypnotic rasping of the waves on the rocks below, she could feel hoofbeats shuddering through the earth. Those who hunted her would take her life, that she knew. But what price would she pay Gideon for her freedom? From The Witch's Daughter. So, I felt like that would be fun. And I got a couple historical romances. These are from Stephanie Lawrence, and this is like to continue on the collection. This is On a Wild Night by Stephanie Lawrence. You guys know I love historical fiction, and the cheesier the cover with the couple, I love that. So this is On a Wild Night, and this is On a Wicked Dawn. So cheesy, and I love it. And then, you guys, I found this. This is The Devil on Horseback by Victoria Holt. I mean, old school. Can we, like, I'm so intrigued by this. I'm so intrigued. So I'm not going to read the back of that. It's, you know, historical fiction. And then I got The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I know that I had this before, and I don't know why I didn't keep it, and I didn't read it, and I saw this and I was like, you know what, I am intrigued by this and I want to read this. Galaxy Alex Stern is the most unlikely member of Yale's freshman class. Raised in the Los Angeles hinterlands by a hippie mom, Alex dropped out of school early and into a world of shady drug dealer boyfriends, dead-end jobs, and much, much worse. In fact, by age 20, she was the sole survivor of a horrific unsolved multiple homicide. Some might say she'd thrown her life away, but in her hospital bed, Alex is offered a second chance to attend one of the world's most prestigious universities on the full ride. What's the catch, and why her? Still searching for answers, Alex arrives in New Haven to ask her mysterious benefactors with monitoring the activities of Yale's secret societies. Their 8 windowless tombs are well-known haunts of the rich and powerful, from high-ranking politicios to Wall Street's biggest players. But their occult activities are more sinister and more extraordinary than any paranormal imagination might conceive. They tamper with forbidden magic, they raise the dead, and sometimes they prey on the living. So I don't know why I didn't keep this, but I am intrigued. And I won't since. Okay. I gotta put these away at some point, but today is not the day. All right. Hi, am I in your spot, sir? Hello. Oh my goodness. Am I in your spots? I am. What's the mama doing? All right. We got some books here. I should have taken these out first, but hi. All right, let's get, and some of these I think like I need to pay attention if it says like mass market or whatnot. What you doing? Go get her. All right. In the first box, this is, am I in your way, sir? Okay. Go on. Go on. Mm-hmm. I was in his way. Huh? Was I in your way? Oh, Mama had the snacks there. Is that what you wanted? Was the snacky snacks? Okay. Okay. A Haunting in Venice by Agatha Christie. I am super excited for this one. At a Halloween party, Joyce, a surly 13-year-old, boasts that she once witnessed a murder. When no one believes her, she storms off home. But within hours, her body is found, still in the house, drowned in an apple bobbing tub. From Detective Hercule Poirot is called in to investigate. Set against a night of trickery and the occult, it's up to Poirot to uncover the real evil presence responsible for this ghastly deed. This is Jen McKinley, Cupcake Bakery Mystery. I think this is book number 1, Sugar Plum Poisoned. When up-and-coming singing sensation Shelby Vaughn arrives in town for 2 weeks of concert dates, she hires her old friend Aggie and the rest of the bakery crew to supply cupcakes for the VIP lounge every night. After overhearing Shelby in a heated argument with her manager, Mel is concerned, but she and the team decide to make the best of their time working with the star. Just as the bakers fall into the rhythm of the job, Shelby's manager is found dead, clutching a bit of fabric from the Santa suit and a cupcake. With the bakery staff and Shelby's backup dancers all dressed in similar Santa costumes, it's impossible to say who is the killer. When all suspicions lead back to Shelby, Mel and Angie stand up for their friend, determined to prove her innocence before she's frosted for a crime she didn't commit. Can I help you? Next one from Bentley Little. This is called The Haunted. Julian and Claire Perry and their 2 children, Megan and James, have made the move to a bigger, nicer home in their city's historic district, but something isn't right. The neighbors seem reluctant to visit. Claire can't shake the feeling that someone is watching her. Megan receives increasingly menacing and obscene texts, and James is having dreadful dreams. No wonder, considering what he's seen in the corner of the basement, staring at him and shuffling closer ever so slowly. Someone should have warned the Perry family. Now it's too late because the darkness at the bottom of the stairs is rising. A Lamp Black Wolf Gray by Paula Braxton. Love this cover. How cool is that? Artist Laura Matthews finds her new home in the Welsh Mountains to be a place so charged with tales and legends that she is able to lift the gossamer fine veil that separates her own world from that myth and fable. She and her husband Dan have given up their city life and moved to Blanewam, an ancient longhouse high in the hills. Here she hopes that wild beauty will inspire her to produce her best art and give her the baby they have longed for. But this high valley is also home to others, such as Rice, the charismatic loner who pursues Laura with fervor, and Anwin, the wise old woman from the neighboring farm who seems to know so much but talks in riddles. And then there's Merlin. Just sounds like a fun sci-fi type thing. The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom. This one is, yeah, I thought that was like a medal. This one I'm so intrigued by. I'm so intrigued by this one. At the turn of the 19th century, young white Lavinia, who was orphaned on her passage from Ireland, arrives as an indentured servant on a tobacco plantation in Virginia. Placed under the care of Belle, the master's illegitimate black daughter, Lavinia learns to cook, clean, serve food, and cherish the quiet strength and love of her new family in the kitchen house. In time, Lavinia is given work in the big house, caring for the master's opium-addicted wife and catering to his volatile son, and she finds herself perilously straddling 2 very different realities. When she is forced to make a choice, loyalties are questioned, dangerous truths are laid bare, and lives are put at risk. The Kitchen House is a heartbreaking and ultimately hopeful story of class, race, dignity, deep-buried secrets, and family bonds that grabs the reader and demands them to be devoured. So intrigued by this. From Lisa Jewell, this is None of This Is True. Celebrating her 45th birthday at the hot new local pub, popular podcaster Alex Summer crosses paths with an unassuming woman called Josie Fair. Josie, it turns out, is also celebrating her 45th birthday. They are, in fact, birthday twins. A few days later, Alex and Josie bump into each other again, this time outside Alex's children's school. Josie has been listening to Alex's podcast and thinks she might be an interesting subject for her series. She tells Alex, on the cusp of great changes in her life. Josie's life appears to be strange and complicated, and although Alex finds her unsettling, she can't quite resist the temptation to keep going on the project. Slowly, she starts to realize that Josie is hiding some very dark secrets, and before she knows it, Josie has unveiled her way into Alex's life and into her home. Unveiled. But as quickly as she has arrived, Josie Fair disappears, Only then does Alex discover that Josie has left terrible and terrifying legacy in her wake, and that Alex has become the subject of her own true crime podcast, with her life and her family's lives in grave danger. Dun dun dun! This one is a Krampus story by Mr. Rickert. This is called Lucky Girl. Super small. This is like probably a 30-minute read or maybe an hour read. Ro, a struggling writer, knows all too well the pain and solitude that holiday festivities can awaken. When she meets 4 people at the local diner, all of them strangers, and as lonely as Ro is, she invites them to an impromptu Christmas dinner. And when that party seems in danger of an early end, she suggests they each tell a ghost story, one that's seasonably appropriate. But Ro will come to learn that the horrors hidden in a Christmas tale or once past can never be tamed once unleashed. From Katie Robert, Hunt on the Dark Waters. Look at that. I love that. Evelyn is a witch with a perfect storm of impulses, terrible taste in bed partners, sticky fingers, and a lust for danger. After she steals from her vampire ex and falls through a portal to another realm, she's fished out of the water by a band of seafarers and their telekinetic captain. She's immediately given a choice: join their ship's crew or die. Bowen has no memory of his life before he came one of the Quinn Anwin, and his band of pirates are bound by about to patrol through Threshold, the magical sea between realms, keeping the portals to other worlds safe. When he rescues Evelyn, he doesn't expect to be attracted to the unflappably brassy pickpocket. The longer he spends in her presence, the more he begins to question if his heart is the next thing she'll steal. But as tension heats up between Bowen and Evelyn, the danger at sea escalates as well. Because Evelyn has no intention of keeping her vows to the Quinn Anwin, and if she betrays the crew, both she and Bowen will pay the ultimate price. Just sounds like a fun read. Next one is Twisted Secrets by Katie Roberts. Greed, ambition, violence. Those are the lessons Olivia Rashidi learned from her mafia family, and she's determined that her young daughter won't grow up the same way. When she meets Cillian O'Malley, she recognizes he could very easily drag her into the life she's determined to leave behind. Yet she still can't stop herself from falling for the smoldering, tortured man. Plagued by a violent past, Cillian is, I think it's Killian, C-I-L, it's not K-I-L, but it's Killian, is more vulnerable than anyone realizes. But Olivia sees through him in a way no one else can, and their sizzling chemistry awakens something he thought he'd never experience again. While his proposal of no-string sex seems simple, what he finds for her isn't. Killian knows there's no escape from this life, but for Olivia, he'll do everything in his power to try, even if it costs him his life. Sounds fun! Next one, The Handyman Method by Nick Cutter and Andrew Sullivan. When the Sabin family moves into rural, unfinished development community, cracks begin to emerge in both their new residence and in their lives. As a father wrestling with his unemployment and his uncertain place in the world, Trent Sabin's attempts at DIY home repairs lead him down on an online rabbit hole, where a paranormal radicalization surreptitiously take hold as a mysterious instructor delivers dark subliminal suggestions on how to handle any problem around the house. Meanwhile, stepping into the sole breadwinner role, his wife Rita tries to hold the family together as matters spiral out of control and go from bad to worse. Even as their son Milo, a boy left to his own devices, exhibits the sinister side effects of far too much screen time. The trials of home improvement, destructive insecurities, and horror beyond imagination collide in this terrifying story that will haunt readers long after the final pages are turned. The Bookshop of the Broken-Hearted. I love reading books about books and bookshops and libraries and book readers. I don't know why. This is by Robert Hillman. It's 1968 in rural Australia. A lonely Tom Hope can't make heads or tails of Hannah Babel. Newly arrived from Hungary, she's passionate, brilliant, and fiercely determined to open sleepy hometown's first bookshop. Despite the fact Tom has read only one book in his life, when he installs shelving in Hannah's shop, the two discover an astonishing spark. Recently abandoned by his wife and still missing her sweet son Peter, Tom believes he might make Hannah happy, but Hannah has a past Tom can barely comprehend. 24 years earlier, she has been marched to the gates of Auschwitz. The Bookshop of the Broken-Hearted is a generously written, gentle-spirited, and wise novel that reminds each of us that love, literature, and forgiveness have the power to transform our lives, and if we dare to allow them, to mend our broken hearts. That looks like fun. Next one, A Dreadful Splendor by B.R. Myers. When I see books like this, I feel like I've read it because there's a lot of books. Oh my gosh, Stephanie. Oh my God. Okay, one by one, I turned down the oil lamps around the room until the only light came from my candles and the fireplace. The glow illuminated the sharp angles of their faces, draping everything else in shadow. The space felt immediately smaller, more intimate. I took my seat in the empty chair between the men, facing Mrs. Hartford. I motioned to the ghost book I laid out on the table before me. The weathered black cover was blank, offering no hint as to its use or value. It was merely several slates bound together inside a book's jacket, but with it I had the power to reveal the message of a loved one from the other side. I caressed the binding slowly like a beloved pet, and then with great care I opened the cover. My palm waved over the blank surface in smooth practiced motion. Quote unquote, your message? Question mark? I can't believe that. Stephanie Renee. Frickin' A. I must be on a Katie Roberts kick because I gotta take the sticker off. I hate it when companies put stickers over the frickin' words. Really? Tarjay? Frickin' Tarjay. This is Heated Rivals by Katie Roberts. I can't believe I did that. That just threw me off. So Heated Rivals. So this is book 2, I think. This is a series. So Kerrigan O'Malley knows she must marry to secure power and prestige, not passion. But after one taste of the hard-body, whiskeyed voice James Halloran, she wants no other man, even though James and his ruthless family are enemy number one, and her father will never allow their union. Halloran's versus O'Malley's is how it's always been, yet instead of strategizing how to expand his empire and dominate rivals, James is plotting when he can next get Kerrigan into his bed, and his family, those who are dangerous, and in his family, those are dangerous thoughts indeed, but not nearly as dangerous as he'll be if he can't get what he wants. Kerrigan by his side, no matter what it might cost. Dun, dun, dun. I can't believe I did that. All right, next box. Okay, this one I just got done reading on Audible. I had it on my, this is what happens when I don't open the boxes I needed to right away. because I was like, oh, it's on my want to read list, and oh, it's in, I can get it, I can listen to it for free. Huh. So I did, and look, it's here. This one I did not like. I gave it a 1 star. And the only reason why I finished it is because it was on Audible, and I pushed it to like 1.8, 2-point speed. It was so, I couldn't. The characters, I could not get behind. Opal is a lot of things: orphan, high school dropout, full-time cynic, and part-time cashier. But above all, she's determined to find a better life for her younger brother, Jasper. One that gets them out of Eden, Kentucky, a town remarkable for only 2 things: bad luck and E. Starling, the reclusive 19th century author of The Underland, who disappeared over 100 years ago. And she's left behind were dark rumors and her home. Everyone agrees that it's best to ignore the uncanny mansion and its misanthropic heir, Arthur. Almost everyone anyways. So she gets this job at this mansion, and this mansion is kind of like alive, and she's a freaking thief, and she can tell that the house is magical, and it, like, you know, she's cleaning this house because she's trying to get money to get her brother out. That's heroic. That's fine. But everything else, like, she's taking the money and then she's stealing from the house and selling it, and she continues to do it and do it and do it, even though it just, I could not. I was just wondering when when she was going to stop being a freaking thief, and when she was going to just, I don't know. I didn't like this one at all. I gave it 1 star. So, Fall of Ruin and Wrath. This is by Jennifer. See, they put a freaking, this one isn't too bad. Jennifer Armentrout. This is, long ago the world was destroyed by gods. Only 9 cities were spared by vast wilderness teeming with monsters and unimaginable dangers. Each city is now ruled by a guardian, a royal who feeds on mortal pleasure. Born with an intuition that never fails, Callista knows her talents are of great value to the power hungry of the world. So she lives hidden as a courtesan of the Baron of Archwood. In exchange for his protection, she grants him information. When her information leads her to save a traveling prince in dire trouble, the voice inside her blazes with warning and promise. Today he'll bring her joy, one day he'll bring her doom. When the Baron takes an interest in the traveling prince, and the prince takes an interest in Callista, she becomes the prince's temporary companion, but the city simmers with rebellion, and with knights and monsters at her city gates, and a hungry prince in her bed, intuition may not be enough to keep her safe. Callista must choose, follow her intuition to safety, or follow her heart to her downfall. So this one I did put in my want to read, and I was like, you know what, I need to open up this box first. So I'm glad I did that, because I'm very much, ooh, I want it, let me get it now. And once again, these books have been sitting here, and we've had 2 repeats. Hemlock Island by Kelly Armstrong. That is a creepy cover, and I love it. Nancy Kilpatrick has been renting her vacation home to strangers. The invasion of privacy gives her panic attacks, but it's the only way she can keep her beloved Hemlock Island, which is the only thing she owns after a pandemic-fueled divorce. But broken belongings and campfires that nearly burned down the house have escalated to bloody bones, hex circles, and now terrified renters who fled after finding blood and nail marks all over the guest room closet, as though someone tried to claw their way out and failed. When Lainey shows up to investigate with her teenage niece in tow, she discovers that her ex, Kit, has also been informed and is there with Jayla, his sister, and Lainey's former best friend. Then Sadie, another old high school friend, charters a boat over with her brother, who's now a cop. There are tensions and secrets, whispers in the woods, and before long, the discovery of a hand poking up from the earth, then a body that goes with it. But by that time, someone has taken their only means of transportation off the island, and they're trapped with someone or something that doesn't want them to leave the island alive. Okay, this is part of the series by Katie Robert, Dark Succession. Teague O'Malley hates everything associated with his family's name, and when his father orders him to marry Callista Sheridan to create a business alliance, Teague's ready to cut ties once and for all. But Teague actually meets Callista, sees the bruises on her neck and the trauma in her eyes, and vows he will do everything in his power to avenge her. Everyone knows the O'Malleys are dangerous, but Callie wasn't prepared for his brand of lethal grace and coiled power. His slightest touch scorches through her, but the closer they get, the more trouble they're in, because Callie's keeping a dark secret, and what Teague doesn't know could get him killed. Oh, I'm so excited for these books, you guys. Okay, pull some more out. Christmas at the Chalet by Anita Hughes. I want to be there right now with the snow. It's the day after Christmas, and Felicity Grant is at a gorgeous ski chalet for the biggest fashion show of her career. Felicity is a rising star in the bridal field, but when her boyfriend gives her a spa day instead of a diamond ring for Christmas, she realizes she may never walk down the aisle in one of her own designs. And then there's Nell, the top model headlining Felicity's show. Nell is planning her dream wedding to her wonderful fiancé, with one catch: her divorced parents can't stand each other and threaten to no-show if the other is there. Oh, that's kind of selfish. Add to that Felicity's race against the clock to create a special gown for a prestigious bridal salon, and what both girls need is a Christmas miracle. What better place to find one than in the Swiss Alps with its dark forests and sparkling vistas? Anita Hughes' Christmas at the Chalet is full of romance, gorgeous gowns, and the stunning scenery of St. Maurice. I'm excited for that. Next one, The Bone Season by Samantha by Samantha Shannon. Okay, I love this book. That is gorgeous. Anything special? Nothing special. All right. The year is 2059. For 2 centuries, the Republic of Scion has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in Europe. In London, Paige Mahoney holds a high rank in the criminal underworld, the right hand of the ruthless White Binder. Paige is a dreamwalker, a rare and formidable kind of clairvoyant. Under Scion law, she commits treason simply by breathing. When Paige is arrested for murder, she meets the mysterious founders of Scion, who have designs on her uncommon abilities. If she is to survive and escape, Paige must use every skill at her disposal and put her trust in someone who ought to be her enemy. That sounds like fun, and this is kind of a chunky book, so I'm excited for that. Next one, Mastering the Art of French Murder, an American in Paris mystery by Colleen Cambridge. As Paris rediscovers its jeu de vivre, Tabitha Knight, I know I said that totally wrong. Tabitha Knight recently arrived from Detroit for an extended stay with her French grandfather, is on her own journey of discovery. Paris isn't just a city of light, it's a city of history, romance, stunning architecture, and food. Thanks to her neighbor and friend Julia Child, another expat who's fallen head over heels for Paris, Tabitha is learning how to cook for her grand-père and Uncle Ruff. Between tutoring Americans in French, visiting the market, and eagerly sampling the results of Julia's studies at Le Cordon Bleu cooking school, Tabitha's sojourn is proving thoroughly delightful. That is until the cold December day they return to Julia's building and learn that a body has been found in the cellar. Tabitha recognizes the victim as a woman she'd met only the night before at a party given by Julia's sister, Dort. The murder weapon found nearby is recognizable too, a knife from Julia's kitchen. Tabitha is eager to help the investigation, but is shocked when Inspector Marviel reveals that a note in Tabitha's handwriting was found in the dead woman's pocket. It is the murder a case of international intrigue or something far more personal? From the shadows of the Tower Eiffel at midnight to the tiny third-floor child kitchen to the grungy streets of Montmartre, Tabitha navigates through the city hoping to find the real killer before she or one of her friends ends up in prison or worse. Fun little mystery there. The Witch Elm by Tana French. Toby is a happy-go-lucky charmer who's been out celebrating with friends when the night takes a turn that will change his life. He surprises two burglars who beat him and leave him for dead. Struggling to recover from his injuries, beginning to understand that he might never be the same again, he takes refuge at his family's ancestral home to care for his dying uncle. Then a skull is found in the trunk of an elm tree in the garden. And as detectives close in, Toby is forced to face the possibility that his past may not be what he has always believed. Sounds intriguing. Okay. Next one by Neil Sharpson, Knock Knock Open Wide. This is a horror novel. Driving home late one night, Atane Larkin finds a corpse on a pitch-black road deep in the Irish countryside. She takes the corpse to a remote farmhouse. So begins a night of unspeakable horror that will take her to the very brink of sanity. She will never speak of it again. 2 decades later, Betty Fitzpatrick, newly arrived at a college in Dublin, has already fallen in love with the Drama Society and the beautiful but troubled Aisling Mallon. As their relationship blossoms, Aisling goes to great lengths to keep Betty away from her family, especially her alcoholic mother, Atane. But soon, Betty learns about her lover's terrifying family history and Aisling's secret obsession. Aisling has become convinced that the horrors inflicted on her family are connected to a seemingly innocent children's TV show. Everyone in Ireland watched this show in their youth, but Aisling soon discovers that no one remembers it quite the same way. And only she seems to remember its star, a small black goat puppet who lives in a box and only comes out if you don't behave. They say he's never come out. Almost never. So that sounds like a fun, quick, spooky. Laura Lee Gurk, G-U-H-R-K-E. I'll hold it up. This is the bookshop Cinderella. And it said Cinderella, so you knew, I had to get it. This is Evie Harlow runs a quaint little bookshop in London, which is the biggest adventure an unmarried woman with no prospects could hope for, until Maximilian Shaw, Duke of Westbourne, saunters into her shop with the proposition to win a bet with his friends. He'll turn her into the diamond of the season. The Duke might be devilishly attractive, but Evie has no intention of accepting his ludicrous offer. When disaster strikes her shop, however, she's left with little choice but to let herself be whisked into his high society world. Always happy to help a lady in distress, Max thinks he's saving Evie from her dull spinster's life. He'll help her find a husband and congratulate himself on a job well done. But as shy Evie becomes the shining star he always knew she could be, she somehow steals his heart. And when her reputation is threatened, can Max convince her to choose a glittering aristocratic life with him over the cozy comfort of her bookshop? A man or a bookshop? A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. When Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. While she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to achieve, she sometimes feels as out of control as her own life, as the troubled teens who are her patients. So when a local teenage girl goes missing, and then another, that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or, for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? Bum, bum, bum. Next one, this is The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. This is by Gabrielle Zevin. It's a floppy book. A.J. Fikry's life is not all what he expected it to be. He lives alone. His bookstore is experiencing the worst sales in its history, and now his prized possession, a rare collection of Poe poems, has been stolen. But when a mysterious package appears at the bookstore, its unexpected arrival gives Fikry the chance to make his life over and see everything anew. I just thought that sounded like fun. Next one, Christmas at Fireside Cabins. This is by Jenny Hale. Also, can I just be there, please, with my books? Christmas is tough for Leela Evans. She's all alone, left with only memories of the heartbreaking time when she lost her father. But this year, Leela's search of a home away from home and the countryside retreat of Fireside Cabin sounds like the perfect place. Yet Pinewood Hills, tucked in the snow-topped Tennessee mountains, doesn't offer the small-town welcome she'd been expecting. And when Leela stops at the local coffee shop for a much-needed peppermint latte, the rugged, surly owner, Theo Perry, gives her a reception as icy as his piercing blue eyes. Unfortunately, avoiding each other in the quaint village is impossible, which means Leela is soon bumping into Theo everywhere. To her surprise, Leela discovers there's more to Theo than his frosty demeanor, and when Leela sees him smile, it feels like sunshine on a cold winter's day, like coming home. To chase away her holiday blues, Leela makes it her mission to warm up Theo, even if the town warns her that it would take a Christmas miracle. That looks like fun. 3 more books, y'all. The Lost Girls of Willowbrook by Ellen Marie Wiseman. I feel like I did good. I got a little bit of everything. Sage Winters always knew her sister was a little different, even though they were identical twins. They loved the same thing and shared a deep understanding, but Rosemary, awake to every emotion, easily moved to joy or tears, seemed to need more protection from the world. 6 years after Rosemary's death from pneumonia, Sage, now 16, still misses her deeply. Their mother perished in a car crash, and Sage's stepfather, Alan, resents being burdened by a responsibility he never wanted. Yet despite living as near strangers in their Staten Island apartment, Sage is stunned to discover that Alan has kept a shocking secret. Rosemary didn't die. She was committed to Willowbrook State School, and has lingered there until just a few days ago when she went missing. Sage knows little about Willowbrook. It's always been a place shrouded by rumor and mystery, a place local parents threaten to send misbehaving kids with no idea what to expect. Sage secretly sets out for Willowbrook, determined to find Rosemary. What she learns once she steps through its doors and it's mistakenly believed to be her sister will change her life in ways she never could have imagined. That looks like a fun book. Next one is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenny Levine. I just thought that was a super cute cover. Cassie Greenberg loves being an artist, but it's a tough way to make a living. On the brink of eviction, she's desperate when she finds a too-good-to-be-true apartment in a beautiful Chicago neighborhood. Cassie knows there has to be a catch. Only someone with a secret to hide would rent out a room for that price. Of course, her new roommate, Frederick Fitzwilliam, is far from normal. He sleeps all day and is out all night on business and talks like he walked out of a Regency romance novel. He also leaves Cassie heart-melting notes around the apartment, cares about her art, and asks her about her day. And he doesn't look half bad shirtless. On the rare occasion, they're both home and awake. But when Cassie finds bags of blood in the fridge that definitely weren't there earlier, Frederick has to come clean. Cassie's sexy new roommate is a vampire, and he has a proposition for her. Okay, go on. Bye-bye. Choo-choo. Go, CP. It's a book. You can walk over the book. There you go. Good job. All right, last one, you guys. This is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Mansicalo. You guys, look, this is a big book. Throne of the Fallen. All right, last one. Sinner, Villain, Wicked. The Prince of Envy has never claimed to be a saint, but when a cryptic note arrives signaling the beginning of a deadly game, he knows it will take more than a hint of sin to win and save his falling demon court. Riddles, hexed objects, anonymous players. Nothing will stand in his way, though none of his meticulous plans prepare him for her, the frustrating artist who ignites his sin like no other. Virtuous, darling liar. The trouble with scoundrels and blackguards is that they haven't a modicum of honor. A fact Miss Camilla Antonius learns after one desperate mistake allows Waverly Green's most notorious rake to blackmail her. To avoid a ruinous scandal, Camilla is forced to enter a devil's bargain with Envy, little expecting his game will awaken her true nature. Together, Envy and Camilla must embark on a perilous journey through the underworld from glittering demon courts to the sultry vampire realm and beyond, while trying to avoid the most dangerous trap of all, falling in love. Fun. I think this is probably going to go quick. I'm hoping it's not one of those things where it's like it gets good at the beginning and then it just gets drawn out and like I don't need half of this. I'm hoping that's not what it's like. So, all right, you guys, that is it for my very long book haul. I'm going to have some wax hauls coming up in the next week, and then the wax hauls are going to slow down and stop. I think I still have from the roadshow, I still have the Lavender and Speckles Second and Spruce and Knowles. I think that order's still out, and then of course Teddy Bees, but that's, I mean, Teddy Bees isn't until July, so yeah, I'm on a no buy, and that's the plan. So I will be filming videos. I've got some stuff up my sleeve, so I hope you guys stay engaged, and you know, if you enjoy books and you enjoy wax and all the other things that has to do with, you know, life, I guess, I don't know. I'm done talking. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope everyone's having a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.